hands, call in, and email as indicated in our agenda. And I am going to go ahead and I called the meeting to order at 7 a.m. And I'm going to call upon John Capocha to do our Pledge of Allegiance this morning. So John, it is all yours, and the rest of us, we can mute and we will listen to John.
Okay, everybody could please stand, face the flag, put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And thank you, staff, for having that nice flag and pledge there on our screen. We will move on now to order of business. Do we have any changes to our order of business this morning, or anything that we need to take on an emergency action?
Madam President.
Oh, go ahead. Just one point of order, the roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought I just passed that over. I was thinking of doing the online, the polling.
No problem. That's okay.
Okay, roll call.
But I didn't mean to cut you off, Secretary.
That's quite all right. And I'm staring right at it.
Okay. Alhambra.
Here, Stephen Sham.
Arcadia.
Here, Roger.
Azusa.
Robert Azusa here.
Baldwin Park. Bradbury.
Rick Barracat, City of Bradbury.
Claremont.
Corey Kalaikai, present.
Covina. Covina. I'll come back to you, sir. Duarte. El Monte. And Trustee Velasco just emailed me. Levy or Melissa, can you email Trustee Velasco the link to the meeting, please?
Yeah, I can do that, Jared.
Thank you very much. I'll pick up where we left off. El Monte. Glendora.
Present.
Industry.
I'm here, Kathy Marcucci.
Irwindale.
Irwindale here, Manuel Garcia.
La Puente.
La Puente here, Clonakis.
Laverne. Los Angeles County.
Jamie Bisner here.
Monrovia.
Becky Shevlin here.
Monterey Park.
Joseph Leon here.
Pasadena. One more time, Pomona.
Here.
Excellent. Rosemead.
Sandra Menta here.
San Dimas.
Good morning, Ryan Viana, present.
San Gabriel.
Denise Menchaca, present.
Sierra Madre.
John Capocha here.
South Pasadena.
I can see him. He's muted.
Trustee Joe, I know we talked earlier.
You're muted, Bob.
Okay, I'm here. Bob, Joe.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Temple City.
Good morning, Cynthia here.
Morning. Walnut.
Morning, Alan Lewis here.
And West Covina.
Good morning, I'm here.
It looks like you're joining us from district headquarters, sir.
I'm right in the other room signing some checks.
Excellent. Thank you so much for doing that. And with that, we do have a quorum, Madam President.
Great. Thank you very much. And sorry for missing that. Now we'll move on. Do we have any changes to the order of business or anything we need to add on an emergency or deal with on an emergency level?
Yeah, I'd like to say this is Henry. I'm glad to say I'm here.
Good morning, Henry.
Glad to have you, Henry.
Thank you.
Any changes to the order? I do not believe so. Moving on. Did someone, okay, just clearing your voice, I guess. Item 2, opportunity for public comment on non-agenda items. This is the opportunity for the public to address our.
Sorry, this is Jerry Velasco. Just call.
Hi, Jerry. Do we have any raised hands? Do we have, did anyone contact via email or phone?
No, we've not received any written and or requests for contemporaneous comments at this time.
Okay, great. Item 3, consent calendar. Those are items 3.1 to 3.7. Now, are we going to do we prepared to do our poll vote?
We are.
Okay.
Would you like to pull item 3.4 for discussion and later in the agenda?
Yeah, certainly. 3.4, I'm going to have.
I'm sorry, 3.5. 3.5.
3.5 to elaborate later on under his under Jared's report. So I'm pulling that portion of it, and it will be heard. I tell you what, let's do it. Let's be simple. I'm going to go ahead. We'll go ahead and we'll approve the consent calendar, and I'll just have you add further comment under your report. How's that?
Perfect.
So we don't have to approve it separately.
No problem.
Okay.
All right. Finley, move approval.
Thank you. A second?
Second, Kalika Claremont.
Okay, with the motion and second, can we now have our poll vote that we'll be seeing, I think, momentarily?
Try this again. Watch this.
And for those of you that are on the phone, I will ask for a voice vote so just a second here. So please vote on the consent calendar on your screen. You should be seeing that. Click it and hit submit.
And Trustee Jambeck, I did notice that you joined the call, so I have marked you present.
And
down, Jared?
Roger, how do you vote on the consent calendar?
Yes.
Margaret?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Margaret Finley?
Yes.
Thank you. Manuel Garcia?
Yes.
And I think Mr. Henry's on the phone as well. Henry Morgan, is Henry on the phone, or is he?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I voted yes.
Great.
And Trustee Rasmussen, I also noticed that you joined the call this morning, so I've marked you present.
Do we have everyone voting at this point?
It looks like all of the attendees that weren't on the phone have now voted.
And I did. Margaret, Roger, and Manuel are all yeses. I took a voice vote.
Excellent.
Excuse me, this is Denise Menchaca, trustee. I never got this, the voting survey, or it never popped up on my screen. Did you show me as I voted?
Let me look at the records real quick.
Typically something pops up and I didn't see anything.
So it does not indicate that you voted on this. So we can take your vote.
Voice vote.
Yeah.
Say yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Jared, did you get me? This is Jerry Velasco.
Yes, sir. We got you. Yep. All right. There we go.
Okay, so we have a complete vote on that, and the consent calendar passes. Thank you very much. We do not have any presentations this morning. On item 5, consider resolution 2021-02 to order collection of special benefit property taxes inclusive of FY 2021-22 annual budget, fiscal year 21-22 annual budget, and those are in exhibits 5A and 5B. If you will recall, last month we did have approve preliminary the budget, the preliminary budget, and the report of the engineer. And so now we are formally adopting a resolution approving those items. And Jared, do you want to go ahead then and comment on just a very brief budget summary that is on page 36 of your packet?
Absolutely. So we did go over the draft budget last month, which was approved as it presented. So you will find that inclusive of this item. However, the resolution is the mechanism by which the trustees approve the special benefit assessment collection, and that is submitted to the county to authorize them to go ahead and make those collections on our behalf. So you will see the resolution there in front of you, and that is inclusive in the budget packet. We won't go through the full budget again, but I will just hit a very brief highlight reel for you, for perhaps those who did not attend last time and for the benefit of the members of the public. The largest changes to the budget in this coming year for fiscal year 21-22 are in salaries and benefits, and that is as a result of the class and compensation study that was presented to the board for consideration. That class and compensation study helped us level the median salary and wages and benefits for our staff. Also inclusive of the salaries and benefits is a 1% COLA for all district wage earners, which is presented here in the transmittal letter. You will also note what was not included in the package in the draft budget last month were the new position titles and new position descriptions. So those are included now in the very back of the budget packet. And also inclusive of this budget packet in its final form are the new salary schedules, which are generated based on the approval of the draft budget last month. So those are the major changes to the draft that is presented as the final here. So again, noting, and again, from members of the public, the board is proposing an increase in our special benefit assessment rate of 46 cents. That 46 cents, again, will help us offset the cost of those benefits and wages, in addition to helping us plan for future needs and infrastructure needs, and also emergency planning reserves. So if the quick breakdown that's not presented here before you, that 46 cents results in a average SFE, the single family equivalent taxation for each parcel within our jurisdiction of $14.30 per year, which gives us a total projected budget of $5.567 million. So with
and
that,
I do apologize. This is a little different than we do in our city council meetings where we approve budgets. This actually is a special or a public hearing because we are authorizing the collection of taxes. So I feel at the beginning that this is a public hearing, and I am open. I did open in reverse of the public hearing. So Jared, are you finished then? Do you have any further comments then?
no, Madam President, those are all the comments that I had to make this morning.
Okay, and did we have any communications or public comment on this matter?
We have not received any communication from the public.
Okay, and since this is a public hearing, I'm asking if there, well, I just asked you, but is there anyone wanting to, from the public, to provide testimony in favor or against?
And I will ask Levy, he is monitoring our YouTube simulcast, if there's any members of the public that are making a request to speak on this item.
At the moment, there is none.
Thank you, Levy.
Not seeing any request for public testimony. I will then close that portion of the public hearing. And do we have any discussion or questions of the board? I'm not seeing any. Then
Madam
we will.
Chair, I'll move approval of the proposed budget.
So moved.
Do we have to actually read that into the motion, the resolution number?
Just the title, as stated in the agenda. Let me get back up to it for you.
Resolution number 2021-02 for the collection of special benefit property taxes inclusive of the 2021-22 annual budget fiscal year 21-22. And I think, is that oh, yes, it just repeats itself. So there you go. We have a motion to approve our resolution by Cory Kaleke. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Henry Morgan, second. Now we will take a roll. Are we taking a roll call vote on this? Or are we doing a poll vote?
We're taking a roll call vote on this, Madam President.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do that this time. Alhambra.
Yes.
Arcadia.
Yes, yes.
Azusa.
Yes.
Bradbury.
Yes.
Claremont.
Yes.
Covina.
Yes.
Duarte.
Yes.
El Monte.
Yes.
Glendora.
Yes.
Industry.
Yes.
Irwindale.
Yes.
La Puente.
Yes.
Laverne.
Yes.
Los Angeles County.
Yes.
Monrovia.
Yes.
Monterey Park.
Yes. Sorry.
Thank you, Trustee Leon. Pasadena.
Oh, we didn't go there.
Yes.
Pomona.
Yes.
Rosemead.
Yes.
San Dimas.
Yes.
San Gabriel.
Yes.
Sierra Madre.
Yes.
South Pasadena.
Yes.
Temple City.
Yes.
Walnut.
Yes.
And West Covina.
Yes.
And with that, the item does pass, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And thank you to staff and our finance committee and everyone who worked on this this budget, and also all the comp studies and all that we did. We are good to go then for another year. Thank you very much. Okay, we are going to move on now then to district administration, legislative efforts update, and there's then a couple other items that Jared's going to cover.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, just to give you an update on the legislative efforts that we discussed last
I'm
month.
going. I'm on a meeting.
Trustee Morgan, I think your mic is on. There you go. Thank you so much. So we did have, I'd like to share some positive news with you once in a while. So we did get the CalServe program, which is our central repository of our mosquito surveillance data in the state that was created many years ago, that is now being adopted by more than a dozen states throughout the country. That program was at jeopardy of basically not being able to continue because we couldn't pay our programmers any longer due to budget deficits within the university, the California university system in which it's housed. So we sought to make the CalServe program into statute in California. That was adopted about a year ago. This year, we have sought the permanent funding mechanism for CalServe to be inclusive of the budget, so that it was no longer tied exclusively to the University of California system. So thank goodness we were able to get that actually through appropriations this year, and the $1 million that is necessary to continue that program was approved, and as are all other funding requests. So we're just waiting for the governor's signature at this point. So, but that is good news on that front. We will not lose that very important data collection and also data analysis tool that we have come to rely on. So that's good news on the legislative front. And Madam President, I was going to go over a section that we had mentioned earlier, and that is your surveillance report. So fortunately, we did have our first indication of West Nile virus in in the jurisdiction. That was about a week and a half ago. And that was in the city of South Pasadena. That was a dead crow that was reported by a resident. And again, those crows are picked up by our staff and submitted to the state for testing. That bird did come back positive for West Nile virus, which is a fairly early indicator, not alarming. We do expect to start receiving those early lead indicators of virus transmission around this time of the year. What is a bit more concerning, though, is we generally see the virus being circulated in smaller birds and passerine birds, in house finches and sparrows. Now, that's their traditional reservoir host for the virus. And we usually see that transition into the larger corvid species, near crows and jays, a little bit later. So that does give us kind of an ecological and biological indicator that West Nile virus may be operating just a bit earlier this year in our environment. So we are redoubling our efforts to get on top of some of our most problematic mosquito breeding sources. We've taken additional efforts in our traditional West Nile virus transmission areas. We've identified 5 of the most prevalent collection sites that Melissa Doyle, our scientific director, conducts in her surveillance every week. We've had some successes there already in that additional attention to those sites. So we've actually found a number of new problematic breeding sources that we'll keep on our radar moving forward. But you do see that the trap counts are actually down versus 2020. That's our mosquito population numbers, as you see there in the purple band. So that's good news. The subject came up in a conversation between the president and I concerning drought conditions versus mosquito populations and the likelihood of virus transmission. So I did want to clarify that briefly for you. Drought sounds like a good thing when it comes to mosquito control. Less water should equal less mosquitoes. That is generally not always the case. Unfortunately, our lifestyles in Southern California, we insist on green lawns and lush landscaping. So there is enough urban water being distributed into the underground storm drain systems and into sources on people's properties to maintain very high levels of mosquitoes, regardless of natural rainfall or precipitation amounts every year. So we drive the virus really irrespective of the level of natural rainfall. And the other factor that actually can contribute to higher levels of West Nile virus during drought is the lack of natural water resources for birds, the reservoir host for West Nile virus. When birds are put into closer contact with people, because we are now the only water source for them to drink, that is also where the vast majority of our mosquitoes are found. It's more of the desert island theory. So that also can help actually contribute to higher numbers of West Nile virus rather than lower numbers of West Nile virus, even though there may be fewer mosquitoes out in the environment. So I know that's a bit of a nuanced conversation there, but I just want to let you know that just because there's less rain, we're not out of the woods yet.
I was trying to make something good come of the drought. So, it can't even do it with mosquitoes. So.
Sorry.
I tried. I tried. Does anyone have any questions of Jared this morning? Okay. Not seeing any raised hands. Thank you very much for that report, Jared. Moving on, do we have any reports of trustees? Anything from the trustees? We're a quiet group this morning.
Yeah, I just have a comment.
Yes, Jared.
Regarding Jared's report. I know that I spoke to Levy early this week, and there was a crow that I found here in our neighborhood, and I did report it to Levy and the city, did pick it up, and because Levy did mention that it needs to be, that the county, I think, wants any crows or any bird that's dead not to be touched and reported and sent to them. And they need to do it within, I think, 24 or 48 hours. So they are starting to drop some birds, starting to die. So I would recommend that maybe we bring it up to each city to keep an eye and to let the residents know to report that immediately to their animal control or to the state or to Levy.
We did just had a press release that was sent out. Was it the day before yesterday? Kind of lost track this week. It was just this week that we had a press release regarding the West Nile. But that is a good point, Jerry. We need to be mindful and keep our eye out for anything unusual, such as finding dead birds, things like that. Did you have any further comment on that, Jerry?
No, that's it. Just wanted to let all the trustees know, to let their cities know.
Thank you, Jerry. Jerry, did you have any further comment on that?
Yeah.
Or let Levy?
And just so you have it on the top of your mind, so if you do see a dead bird, regardless of what kind of bird, there is a reporting mechanism that was established in the state in 2005. So use this hotline number. It is 1-877 WNV, West Nile virus, bird. So if you dial that number, you will be connected to the hotline in Sacramento, and they will generate the report. This allows us to track every single bird, regardless of whether it's determined to be viable for testing and picked up. We still track all the dead birds reported from every single resident in the state, which gives us very good indicators, very good data for assessing West Nile virus risk.
And Melissa has put that in the chat to report a dead bird or squirrel. Call the West Nile virus dead bird hotline at, again, 877, and the number is 968-2473. And that is West Nile virus, not the whole, I wrote the whole thing out and I thought, no, that's way too many numbers. WNVBIRD. So it is in your chat. Now, she also mentions squirrels. Do squirrels then, do they pass? Do we have a problem with squirrels passing the West Nile virus as well?
Yes, but not, so in Southern California, there are, especially in your foothill communities, if you have the Western gray squirrels, those are your tree squirrels with the big fluffy tails, they are another reservoir for West Nile virus. They're not as widely distributed here in Southern California, but there are areas with that larger, more dense tree canopy that still maintain the gray squirrel populations. Your ground squirrels, the ones that are in the burrows in the grounds, those are not reservoir hosts for West Nile virus or are not adequate reservoir hosts. So if you do see a tree squirrel, those are also reportable. There's an invasive, the eastern fox squirrel, which is more tawny reddish in color. That is an invasive species. Melissa, do you know the vectorial capacity of the eastern fox squirrel?
I do not, but I could look it up.
Okay.
I think those are what are in my yard. They're the kind of reddish brown squirrels, and they definitely are invaders. They have a great time in my yard.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're pushing out a lot of our native gray squirrels. So, I think,
Madam President, we have a hand raised from Trustee Dornick.
Yes. Go ahead.
After we report it to the 800 number, what process are we supposed to follow after that?
Great. So the operators will give you instructions on how to either bag the bird and secure it in a location where a predator is not going to get to it, and also move it out of the sun so that it doesn't further decay and and make it a non-viable sample. So keeping it cool and keeping it away from other predatory animals like hawks and cats and things like that is critical for us to be able to get out to the bird's location and pick it up. And keeping in mind, if you do see a bird that is is much, much more dead than alive. Those aren't viable for testing. So if there's maggots present, if it's fully dried out, been run over by a couple of vehicles, please don't report those birds. They generally will not be viable for collection and testing.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, not seeing anything. Under new business, just wanted to mention that, and maybe Levy would like to comment on this, we are open for business in terms of we're going out into the neighborhoods and we have our education programs going. If you have an event that's coming up and you need support for that and repellent and things like that, Levy, would you like to comment on what we are able to do now?
Yeah, absolutely. As things open up, we're more than able to come out for in-person events following safety protocols. Currently, we've already started getting booked up. Our vectoreducation.org education program is starting to get booked up for summer programs with cities. We have a repellent booth activity that we are now rolling out for LA County. We're actually going to be going out to a lot of the county regional parks in our district for their overnight camping activities. So we're going to see about over the next couple of months, more than 3,000 attendees. So definitely contact me or Jared, and we can get you all set up with your city with not only presentations, but also activities in their community.
Yeah, and remember to protect yourself in the morning as well. I was standing in my yard the other morning and the tops of my feet were exposed and I just got bitten up. Those 80s like to definitely are ankle and foot biters.
Absolutely. And Madam President,
Yes.
Trustee Velasco has his hand
Yes,
raised.
Jerry.
Yes, Levy. I don't know if you want to give a report on I believe you sent a notice out to the trustees about asking the cities to hopefully, declare the mosquito
yes.
week?
Yeah, thank you for the reminder.
Maybe the trustees could tell the cities.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another reminder that June 20th to June 26th is National Mosquito Control Awareness Week. In one of my previous communications with y'all, I did include some language you can possibly use for your city to issue a proclamation for that week to declare it to be National Mosquito Control Awareness Week. So definitely reach out to me if you need it, or I can probably send out another email with that language available.
Could you send it out again, Levy?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
Have
you.
we had replies, Levy? And I know that we have it on the agenda. That Monty has it on the agenda for next week, but I think that it's only one or two people that have replied to you. Have you had a lot of replies or no?
It's just El Monte was the first, and I believe we may be working on something with City of Azusa. I'll have to circle back and double check on that.
So for the city council people that are that are trustees, that would be something that needs to be done this week probably, to hopefully get on the agenda for next week or the following week at the latest. Correct?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trustee Velasco.
All right.
Thank you very much for that reminder, Jerry. Under new business, I also wanted to bring up, and I don't know, Jared, go ahead.
Well, just a quick point of order. We did skip over agenda item 6. Agenda item 7. I wanted to give
I'm sorry.
Trustee Johnson
I'm sorry. Yes.
That's good.
And Lloyd, under committee reports, Finance and Audit Committee, I know they did not meet. They were not able to obtain a quorum, and they do need to meet. But Lloyd, did you have any questions? Maybe rally the troops to get a quorum?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, no, unfortunately, we were unable to have a quorum to have this meeting. I'm just kind of hoping that Jared can get another set up and we can have enough to do a quorum, because we do need to get this item moved forward. That's all I have to report.
Yes. Talking about pension, OPEB and
Yes.
regular pension benefits. So that staff will be contacting the Finance and Audit Committee to get that set up before our next meeting in July. Okay, now new business, under new business as well, wanted to bring up our future meetings and how we might be conducting those. I think most of the groups that have been surveyed, they want a hybrid format, and we're going to see how we might be able to, maybe as early as our July meeting, we might be able to at least test it out for those that want to come in person, and how we have all of our technical ducks in a row, and how we might actually be able to perfect a hybrid meeting. So you will be hearing more about that. I don't know how many of you have been tracking OSHA. They are here, they are there, they are everywhere. But I'm not sure that they have, I couldn't see that they made a final decision or came out with anything further yesterday. Jared, were you able to?
No, I haven't received either a summary or the final report from that Wednesday meeting. We're still waiting for that. Yeah.
Right. And they had gone back and forth on the mask requirements, and they apparently had gotten a great deal of pushback, rightfully so, on some of the mandates that they were putting forward. Very hard. They're still going to be very hard to implement and enforce, but we will see what they have to say. Did you have any other comment, Jared, or anyone on our board this morning about our future format? I see there is a raised hand there. Oops, I gotta get rid of, is that Richard Bearcat? Yes. Richard.
Yes, it is. Jared, do we know, like, staff that comes into the office or will be coming into the office, do we know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't? Or are we able to get that? Or is there some HIPAA rule that says you're not allowed to know?
Yeah, and we have a good idea. We don't have a perfect idea. So we don't know exactly all staff that's been vaccinated versus those who have not. I think that's really goes to the core of the argument with the OSHA